everyone, thanks for joining. Florette here, and today we're going to make a really cute card using an SVG, some digital papers, some foiling, and some tips and techniques with Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers and pencils. And the card we're going to be making has really pretty colors, and you can see the image is a very vintage style. It has like a paper doll feel. And the stamp set is called Rain or Shine, and there's a lot of really great elements on it and sentiments, so there's just so many things you could use it for. So let's get started. So here I'm taking the stamps and putting them on a stamping positioner, but you could easily use a stamping block for this. And I'm stamping them on watercolor paper using a detailed ink. And it's just nice to use an ink too that's also waterproof, so that as you're watercoloring, your black ink won't smear. But I ink it up 2 times just to get a really nice dark color. And then I'm just going to smooth it out a little bit just to make sure everything's stamped. And look at that, the image just looks really nice and crisp, and that really comes down to the detailed ink really makes a big difference. Now I've already gone ahead and cut out all my pieces, and this was an SVG that you can grab on the site. All the links will be below. And here I'm using some digital papers that we're going to foil and ink. So I start off by inking on all of the edges with some Memento ink, and I'm using a dauber just to give it a really nice soft color all the way around. And that's one of the things I love about digital papers is I can color them any color that I want. There's no limitations. I don't have to look for any papers. I can just take any ink that I have and make it match whatever I want to have. And so here I'm grabbing the next piece, which is going to be our centerpiece, and I'm inking with some Memento Lilac Posies. And I'm just going around the edges and giving a really soft, pretty color over the whole thing. And then after we do this, because I printed the paper on a laser printer, I can then run this through my laminator or a foiling machine, and everything that's black will then grab the foil, and then it's going to have a beautiful foiled look to it. And that's what we're going to do next. And I'm wiping off my hands to make sure I don't have any ink of the other color as I go ahead and ink this last piece. And this is like a scalloped circle that I'm going to ink all the way around. And like I said, it's kind of fun using inks to color your papers, because then you don't only need really white paper and a printer. If you don't have a laser printer and you want to foil, you can easily take them to a copy store and they will print them for you very inexpensively. Now that we've inked all our paper with the colors that we want, we're going to foil right on top of that. And I'm just using a piece of copy paper as my carrier sheet to run it through my Mink. Now, of course, I'm using a Mink, but you can always use a laminator to do the same thing. And now we're going to peel off the foil and reveal that gorgeous gold color. Isn't that amazing? I just find it so magical every time I foil. It's just so much fun. So now we're going to move on to my favorite part, which is coloring the stamp, which really brings it to life. And I start out with a Zig Clean Color Real Brush marker, and this one is a flesh tone. And I'm just going to color in all of her skin. I'm not going to add any water to it because I think the color is really nice just the way it is. And then to add a little bit of shadow, after this, I'm going to grab a colored pencil that's just slightly darker than the marker that I used to add a little bit of shadow, you know, under her hairline and around her face, chin, anywhere I think there might be some shadowing. And this is not a necessary step, but I think it's really nice to do and adds a little bit of dimension. I'm going to grab a pink pencil and add some really soft rosy cheeks to her, and it just gives her a really nice look. And when you use a colored pencil for putting on a light color like this, the trick is, so that you get that nice blend, is to just barely touch the paper with the pencil and do a really light circular motion. You can see that just gives her a really nice rosy look. I'm going to color in her lips with a little bit of red, and then I'm going to color in her hair. And I think it would be really fun to color her hair in the color of whoever you're going to give the card to. And this is really great card for anyone of any age, because we've all played with paper dolls, and so it really brings back memories for some people, and or for a little girl who doesn't love a pretty cute little girl paper doll. So I'm coloring in her headband with a colored pencil, and then I want to give it a real nice blended look. So I grab my Finesse Color Pencil Blender, and what that does, it's one of my favorite tools because it takes the pencil and it makes it almost look like you watercolored it. It takes away the wax from the paper. So now I'm going to go ahead and start working on her dress. So now we're going to go ahead and paint her dress, and I'm using a really soft pink, but this time I am going to add some water to it because I want to have a lot of control as to where the color goes, and I want it to just be very, very soft pink at this point. So I'm always starting with my lightest color first when I watercolor, and then I'm going to bring in darker colors later. So I'm just really simply going over the whole thing with a really soft pale pink color, and I just think it makes her dress look so pretty, and she would look good in any color dress. So what's really fun about this stamp is you can, really play around with it. You could even do paper piecing with the dress, and by that you can actually give her like a really cute pattern dress by cutting out, like stamping it one time on a pattern paper, cutting out the dress, and then gluing the dress back onto the little girl, so then it truly is a little paper doll. So once I get this all filled in with the light pink, I'm going to grab a darker pink zig, and I'm going to again put it to the side with a little water to it just to lighten that color. And now I'm going to go right around some of the edges just to give it some dimension and to give her skirt that real round feel. And it's actually real easy. And you don't have to be an artist to do this. You can just simply kind of go around the edges with the darker color, and then you'll have like a highlight in the center, and you can see I'm doing kind of like curves around the bottom of her dress and filling it in with a little bit more water. And I dip my brush, and then I take a little bit of the water off, sometimes with a paper towel. It's good to have a paper towel handy to get a little bit of water off your brush. And also, if you get a little too much color on, you can dab it with the paper there as well. But painting is just so much fun, and you can just see her, she's really coming together. So I'm just going down some of the lines and adding some deeper color there. So it's real simple, and you can see she already has like that glow. And I'm going to put a little bit under her neckline, and then I'm going to blend just the very edge with the fine tip brush, and then the very bottom there right above her little ribbon, I'm going to add a little bit darkness, and then right there by her arms. And I really love these brushes because this is a synthetic brush, so it's cruelty free, but yet it holds a lot of water and acts just like a squirrel hair brush. But the fact that it's cruelty free, then I can feel good using it. And these are called Mimic, and the link will be below as well, just as well as the color blender for the pencil. I have that below as well. So now I'm going to go ahead and color in the little rabbit, and I'm just going to use a light blue pencil just to kind of give it a little bit of shadowing, and it's going to have like just a very soft feel. So I'm going around in anywhere I might think there could be a little shadow, or just leaving some highlights here and there. And again, you don't have to be an artist to do it. Just adding a little bit of color is going to give it that dimension. I'm grabbing my Finesse Color Blender, and as you can see, I kind of wiped it off to the side on another scrap piece of paper because it will pick up the other colors, and I didn't want to get any pink on my little bunny there. But you can see he kind of looks white, but he has just a little bit of soft shadowing to him, and I think it's nice to do with a blue as opposed to a gray. It just gives it that really nice colored touch. So now I'm going to go ahead and grab a blue Zig color marker, and I'm going to color in her hat a very soft blue, and I'm going to start kind of with, I'm testing it here on my paper to make sure that I have it as light as I want. The more water you add, the lighter your color is going to be. So I'm just going to go around the edges and add a little bit of color, leaving some of the white there because I kind of want the highlights. And then I'll add just a little more. And I see I added a little too much water there, and that's what's great about your paper towel. You can dab it off. And now I'm just kind of blending it around just so I have a really soft, pretty blue on her hat. And then to color in her little bow, I'm going to grab next a pink pencil, because it's like sometimes with the smaller details I'll use a pencil because I have a little bit more control. And as you can see, I'm just kind of darkening some of the edges of the hat with the blue. So it's always good to start light and then build your color up. So here I'm just going to scrub in a little bit of pink onto her bow and to match her dress. And then I'm going to grab a yellow and just swirl around those little flowers real nice and easy and color those in. And it's just, look how cute that looks. It's just so pretty. It reminds me of when I was a little girl playing with paper dolls. Once everything's colored, I'm going to fussy cut it out. Now, if you don't like fussy cutting, we always have the SVG files, digi die cuts. You can cut those out beforehand and then print the put your stamp on the cutout and then color it, so then you don't have to fussy cut. But these are really easy to fussy cut, and the trick to fussy cutting is to really turn your paper as opposed to your scissors. You will turn your scissors a little bit, but mainly you're going to turn the paper and go all the way around. But what's really fun here is that now you're cutting it out just kind of how you did when you were younger with the old-fashioned paper dolls. But you can see it's going really quickly. And she is just going to make the cutest little card when we're finished. And it's a lot of fun to make. I think you'll enjoy it. So again, I'm just going around the edges, just leaving a tiny bit of border around there. And there you go. She's cut out. That was pretty quick. And then I noticed that I forgot to color in her belt, her little ribbon belt. So I take a little pencil and I just color that in real quickly just to give it that little bit of extra color. And then I noticed a couple spots I didn't color in her hair, and there she's done. And then I went ahead and cut out the other pieces. So now I'm going to add a sentiment. So I take my anti-static powder and I pop it on a piece of vellum. And what that does is it takes the static away, so that when I stamp it and when I put my embossing powders on it, the embossing powder will go just where I want it and not in other places. So I'm just going to stamp it once, and I wind up getting a really good image the first time. Don't have to stamp it again. So I'm going to take that out, and we are going to add some of the embossing powder. And I thought gold would go really nicely with this because it's soft and pretty. So I grabbed some Brutus Monroe embossing powder in Gilded, and look at that. It looks so perfect. Now one of my favorite parts is we're going to heat that up. And that's where the magic always seems to happen. It's so fun to watch. So I grab my heat gun, and I always try to heat my gun up a little bit ahead of time so it heats it faster and it doesn't warp your paper. And look at that, so pretty. Now we're going to go ahead and put this whole thing together. So I'm going around just taking my ATG gun, and I'm going to center this piece right in the center of the other digital paper. With a strip down the center. And then next I'm gonna, and look at that gold, you can always see it, it's shimmering. I'm gonna take the white circle and I'm gonna put some adhesive on the back of it and center that right in the center. And then we're gonna glue that with a little bit of foam tape just to give it a little added dimension. And I'm going to put a cross kind of shape there just so it gives it enough support. And we're going to pop that up kind of like in the center towards the top. And now I'm going to do the same thing with the stamped image of the paper doll. And I'm going to center her right in that circle and pop her up. And I thought it'd be cute to put the little bunny next to her little skirt, kind of it's leaning. And then I was playing around with the hat, showing like you can put it on her head or she can hold it. So for this card, I wanted her to hold it. And now I'm grabbing my piece of vellum and a piece of white paper because I really want it to stand out. I don't want to see through the other colors. I want it to have a really bright background. And then I'm just going to adhere that right onto the front of the card, and you can see we're really almost done. There really isn't much more to go, and it looks so bright and pretty. And I'm just gonna pop that onto a card front, a pre-made card. It's an A2 size card, this particular card, but you could do it in other sizes as well. And look at that, we've already got a card. And it's just looking so cute, but we need sparkle, of course. So I grabbed my Spectrum Noir glitter pen, and I'm just going around the edges and adding some glitter to really just sparkle, sparkle, sparkle it up. I just love sparkles. So I'm going to put a little on her headband, a little bit here and there on her dress. And I'm also going to add just a couple of sequins to the bottom using my quick stick. It just makes it a little bit easier to adhere. And then I'm going to put some glue down once I decide where I'm going to put my sequins, and then pop the sequins on. And we are just about done. And I think she just looks so pretty and adorable. But she still needs one more thing, I decide. We need a bow. So I grab some pink twine, and I just take two pieces, make a simple bow like you would tying your shoes, and then I'm going to cut it off. But I also thought it would be nice to fray the edges, so I fray the edges, and I'm going to adhere that with a little bit of hot glue. You could use some all-purpose glue as well, but if you want it to be done really quickly, a lot of times I'll use hot glue because it's just really fast. Now, it doesn't, I wish it would show more on camera, the sparkle, but there's just so much sparkle in real life, and it looks so pretty, and it's just very nostalgic, and it brings back so many fun memories. So I hope you enjoyed this card making tutorial, and I hope you'll give it a try, and if you make one, please share it on our Facebook page. Thanks for joining, and I'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.